My name is Sam Pollard, and this is my informative speech from my public speaking class, and I'm doing it on what animals do in the wintertime. Have you ever wondered what animals do when the summer sun goes away and it gets cold outside and you're inside your house all curled up by the fire, maybe eating warm cookies? I've always been interested with animals since I was a little kid, and that's why I chose the subject, because I wanted to basically just know more about what animals do when the weather gets cold. Many different animals live many different lives, so how each one is going to deal with the cold is going to be different and unique in its own way. There's three basic parts to my speech. The first one is migration, the second one is hibernation, and the last one is adaptations. Basically, for migrations, many animals travel great distances. There's one bird that travels as far from the North Pole in the summertime, and then they fly all the way to the South Pole, Antarctica, which would be the winter in the northern hemisphere. A lot of animals just migrate from, if it was the continental U.S., it'd be from northern to southern, just basically to warmer weather. Now, there's a few different things that drive these animals to do this. Mating season can be one. Scarcity of food is another. And the last one is basically, it's kind of natural for them. It's just they have something in their body that says, hey, it's time to do this. One crazy thing that people wonder about is how these animals travel such great distances. How do they navigate? And I was doing some research online, and it basically said it's like they're sailors. They use the sun and the stars and visual landmarks that they've seen in years past, and it's kind of amazing that some animals can travel thousands and thousands of miles when humans would need GPSs and maps and everything else, and they can end up on the same beach or at the same tree they were when they were born or hatched. There's a couple different reasons animals migrate. One could be to find warmer weather. Two would be a scarcity of food. Maybe there's not enough food or it's dying off where they are and they need to go find some other stuff. And the third one is mating. That's another big thing that fuels migration, is the time of the year to mate. They go to a special place so their offspring can be raised in the right area. The next thing is moving from distances, travel great miles, to animals that are going to move less than they have all year and they're going to be sleeping. So my second main idea is about hibernation. Hibernation is basically just a very deep sleep that animals enter into during the cold months. Their body temperature drops, and also their heart rate slows to conserve energy for this very long time that they'll be sleeping and not really moving and doing a whole lot. They actually call it metabolic depression, which is basically just a slowing of all the processes in the animal's body. How animals prepare for it: they eat excess amounts of food throughout the end of the summer and the fall to gain enough fat storage to get them through the wintertime. I thought this was kind of an interesting fact. Some bears have been known to eat grass and leaves and almost like clumps of dirt towards the end of the fall to create a plug for them so they don't use the bathroom for the first couple of months of hibernation. I guess that's just to keep everything in. Moving from animals sleeping a lot, this is attributed to the animals that work extra hard where they live instead of just going to sleep. My third main subject is on adaptation. A few things about adaptation that animals that will help them survive throughout the winter is they change what they eat. Maybe in the spring or summertime they eat insects and berries and fruit and things like that, things that are just abundant during the warm weather seasons. And when it gets cold outside, they have to change their diet so they can, continue to live and thrive in their area. They can change it to possibly small rodents or other little green things that are growing maybe underneath the snow, or mosses on trees, or some of the green things that continue to thrive throughout the wintertime. Another special adaptation that a lot of animals have to deal with the cold weather is a lot of them develop thicker fur. And along with that thicker fur, when it gets cold outside, it tends to snow. So, a gray or a black coat would definitely not give the animal any kind of edge at all. So some of them develop a white coat, a white thicker coat, so they can blend in with the snow and continue to live their lives. Basically, my speech was about animals. It was either migrating, where they're traveling great distances to continue living their lives. Some take an extremely long nap, and others work extra hard where they live to just get by. From animals that want to fly great distances to animals that want to sleep for an incredible amount of time, and animals that, again, want to work extra hard where they are. All these animals are extreme in one way or another, and they're all extraordinary and should be greatly respected by us, because we're kind of just sitting inside soaking up the heat from the fire and the warm clothes and everything else. All these animals, again, they should be respected for the triumphs and tribulations that they face every year. I can't imagine having to live or endure such a great journey as they do, whether they're fighting the cold weather with no fire to keep them warm, or whether they're flying hundreds and thousands of miles. And another thing with the migration, there's a few different animals that do it. Elk have been known to migrate. A lot of birds. Birds is one of the biggest things that do it. And sea creatures, whales are one of the biggest migratory animals. But again, all these animals should definitely be shown respect, and people should admire the crazy tribulations that they face as these winter months get colder and their journeys just get harder. I have no audience tonight. My parents went to sleep on me, but that's my speech for my public speaking class, and again, it's my informative speech.